starting off in standing. So just shuffle yourself forward on your chair, and we're going to take the band and pop it around the back of the rib cage. So if you wrap it round behind you, and if you can, try and get it relatively flat. They do like to roll up these stretchy bands, but if you can, try and get it flat. So it's wrapping around the back of your rib cage, coming underneath your arms, and we're just going to cross it over at the front. Not too tight, but enough that you can just feel it around the back of the rib cage. Ah, there we are. Whoever left us, let's let them in. There we go. Right. So we're going to use the band as feedback. So we're going to focus on breathing, and where you've got the band around your rib cage, hopefully you'll be able to really feel and focus on where the breath is going. So just gently cross it over at the front. Don't have it too tight, holding on to the ends, and just relax your shoulders. So lengthening up, sitting nice and tall. So feet hip width apart and in parallel, lengthening up and relaxing through the shoulders, and taking some deep breaths in your own time. So breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And where you've got the band wrapped around your rib cage, just try and focus the breath. So as you inhale, feel that you expand into the rib cage and into the band. And as you exhale, you're letting the rib cage close and you're drawing gently away from the band. So it's just giving you feedback. And this is a really nice way of focusing the breath, known as lateral thoracic breathing. We've talked about it before, where we're focusing the breath and using the full capacity of your lungs, which generally we don't do every day. We don't tend to breathe deeply right down into the bottom of the lungs. So this is a good way of encouraging the breath. So just taking a few more breaths here, using that band. If you can't feel a lot happening, just tighten it up a little bit more. So you have to really feel that you're opening it, expanding against the band. One more time, deep breath. And out. And now we're just going to really focus on engaging abdominals as well. So we're still going to breathe, but now as you exhale, feel that you're gently drawing in through the abdominals. So a natural engagement. You shouldn't have to think about it too much, because as you exhale, naturally there's a movement through your diaphragm that engages those deep abdominals. So just feel now that as you breathe out, you're gently drawing in through the center, feeling the abdominals engaging, just getting a little bit tighter, but not too tense. And those abdominals are just going to help give us support as we start to move. So finding that connection, gently drawing in through the center, keeping the breath focused into the rib cage, but now we're going to uncross the band and just hold the ends of the band in each hand. So I've just put the band in between my thumb and my fingers so I can reach out through the fingertips in a moment, and we're going to use the band for our bow and arrow. So if you want to, tighten it up or loosen it off, as much resistance as you want to work with. We're going to now take a breath in again, and as you breathe out, you're going to reach through one arm, and then you're going to turn away and look over the opposite shoulder. Breathing in as you start to draw the arm back in, eyes looking ahead, and now breathing out as you reach the opposite arm forward and turn to look over the shoulder. Breathing in again as we draw in, back to the center, and breathing out again to the opposite side. Breathing in to come back to the center, and breathing out, reach and twist. So if you want to, tighten up the band and work a little bit harder, or loosen it off if you need to. 4 more. Try and reach straight in front of you. So you're pulling against the band as you reach the arm forward, and just allowing the spine to gently rotate, as if trying to look over the opposite shoulder. Breathing in back to the center, breathing out opposite side. Finishing that last one, bring yourself into the center, and now focusing your eyes straight ahead. We're going to do both arms now, breathing in and out as you reach both arms straight in front of you. So really feel that you're working against the band. Breathing in as you draw the arms back in towards you. And again, breathing out as you reach forward. If it's too much, loosen it off. Breathing in as you draw the arms in. And breathing out again as we reach the arms forward. 3 more. Breathing in. And out to reach the arms forward. So you pull the band, create that resistance. Try not to lift through the shoulders. And try not to disturb the spine. So try not to lean forward or back. Last one. And drawing the band in. Lovely. We're going to take the band away from behind us. Shoulders should feel a little bit warmer already, but we're going to do a bit more work through the arms. So now we're going to wrap the band around our hands. I have a little bit of slack in the band. Don't have it too tight. So just wrapping it around your hands there, so the fingers are free and it's nice and secure. You don't have to hold on to it too tightly because we don't want to create tension in the shoulders. And we're just going to let the band settle on the front of the legs, sitting nice and tall and focusing the eye line straight ahead. Again, just think about drawing in through the center, taking a breath in to prepare and breathing out as we just float the band all the way up as far as you can, reaching above the head, and breathing in as you float all the way down. And breathing out as we float up as far as you can, and breathing in as you float all the way down. Breathing out as we float up, breathing in as we float down. So we're just getting a nice movement through these shoulders. Again, try not to disturb the spine. Try not to lean back as you reach through the arms. If you feel that that's happening, don't take the arms as far. So just reaching to the point that you can maintain that nice length, neutral spine. Draw the tummy in. We're going to do it one more time. And then we're going to allow for a little bit more movement. Good. Floating it down. And now we're going to look at the band. So eyes on the band, just resting across the top of the legs. And now we're going to let the spine join in. So, oh, someone's microphone's on. Hello. Someone's talking. I'm not sure. Someone's microphone is on. Okay, so looking at the band, I knew something would happen. It had to, didn't it? So looking at the band, and now we're just going to follow it. So same movement, breathing in and out. And follow the band now as you again reach it up towards the ceiling. Let your body just react and let the band just slightly come back over the head. So you come into a little bit of extension. And then breathing in as we follow the band as it comes back down towards the top of the legs. So you let the spine react and come into a little bit of flexion. And then breathing out again as we float up. Eyes on the band. Follow as you reach up above the head into extension. And breathing in as we float down, following the band. So just keep your eyes on the band and the body will just react naturally now. So you can allow for a little bit more movement, flexion and extension. Let's do that 2 more times. And this is just a nice way of mobilizing the spine, warming it up a little bit. Let's go for 1 more last time. Floating down into that little bit of flexion, just gently rounding the spine. And then coming up for the last time into that little bit of extension. And floating the band all the way down and keep bringing your eye line forward now. So again, sitting nice and tall and just looking straight ahead. Now we're going to work those shoulders and chest a little bit more. You may want to loosen off the band, see how it feels, because we're going to really work into the shoulders. Now, little tip here, if you've got any issues with your shoulders, bring the band in front of you rather than behind you, okay? It will make sense in a moment. So again, we're going to breathe in and breathe out again as we float up. And this time, you're going to pull the band nice and wide, and if you can, pull it behind you, or if you need to, take it in front of you. And then floating it back up above the head and all the way back down. Lovely. And again, breathe in and out as we float up. And breathing in as you pull the band, take it behind you if you can. And then breathing out to reach up. Breathing in to float all the way down. And breathing out again as we float all the way up. Pulling the band nice and wide, drawing it back behind you. Don't let it snap you up. Work against the resistance and then floating it back down. 2 more. You can do this without the band and just float the arms and reach them out wide. You don't have to do it with the band if it's too much, because you're going to really work the back of the shoulders and across the front of the chest at the same time. Last one. Floating it up again, staying nice and stable, don't lean back. Pull the band nice and wide, draw it back behind you, make this one count. And reach it back up. And float it back down. Whew, well done. Okay, we're going to come into a side reach this time. Again, feel free to loosen off the band if you need to. One more time now, we're going to float the band up and we're going to hold it above the head. We're going to take a breath in here. And breathe out as you take yourself over to one side. Hold it here, and we're going to pull the band down towards the floor 3 times. So pull it down, 1, 2, and 3. And then stack yourself up into the center and over to the other side. Hold it here, pull it down, 1, 2, and 3. And then bring yourself back to the center. We're going to do it again. We're going to take it over. Use that bit of centering to hold yourself here. Pull it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Good. Coming back into the center. Again. Over to the other side. Hold it there. Pull it down. 1, 2, and 3. And coming up, we're going to do it one more time on each side if you can. Again, bringing it over. Hold it there. Pull it down. 1, 2, 3. And coming up. Last time, over to the other side. Hold it there. Pulling it down. 1, 2, and 3. And coming back up. And float it down. Well done. Unwrap the band for a moment. And if you need to, just loosen off the wrists, roll off the shoulders. Hopefully the upper body's feeling warm. So now we need to warm up the legs a little bit. So we're going to work into the feet. Now we'll do this one slowly because you're going to have to wrap it around your foot. So this is quite a nice one because if you've got limited movement in your feet and in your ankles, this one's going to be really good to help with some range, some proprioception. So a really nice one to do. So with your band, let's all do the right leg, okay? And we're going to pop the band around the back of your leg, okay? So around the back of the ankle, first of all. You want roughly the same length either end because otherwise you'll end up with a short end. So roughly same length, and then you're going to cross it over the front of the leg, okay? Relatively tight. And now you're going to bring it down underneath your foot and cross it underneath the foot. So you're making a cradle, okay? So hopefully you stayed with me for that. I'm going to repeat it just in case. So it's around the back of your leg, cross it over the front, and then take it underneath your foot, cross the ends over again, and holding on to either end. So you've made a cradle for your foot. You should have a cross of the band over the front of your ankle, hopefully. Okay? So, holding on to the ends, and if you've got a short band, this might be quite difficult because you need to hold the ends and draw the band in towards you. So you're creating that resistance, tightening it up. And if you've got a short band, it's going to pull you forward. So go careful. Try not to lean forward and try and avoid looking down at your foot if you can avoid it. I know it's tempting. So you're pulling that band in towards you, and you should feel quite aware of that foot, and you should feel quite aware that there's a band wrapped around it as well. So it's really reinforcing all the sensory input into that foot and into that leg. So it might feel like you're doing quite a subtle movement, but actually it's going to do a lot of work. So feet hip width apart, pulling that band in, sitting up nice and tall, keeping the heel down. Just try and lift the toes off the floor and then push down against the band as you put your foot back onto the floor. So you lift the toes and then take them down, push against the band. So it's really small, but it does a lot of work. So you lift the toes against the band and then you push down against the band. Lift the toes, lower the toes. So you should feel that little bit of resistance as you push against the band, lifting the toes and lowering the toes. So you keep the heel down and just pick up the toes. A couple more times. It's going to feel like it's not doing a lot, but actually it is. Really reinforcing lots of input into that foot. Now keep the toes down and try and do the opposite and try and lift your heel. So toes down, lift the heel, and then lower the heel. Lift the heel, lower the heel. And again, you're working slightly against the band. Try and keep it drawn in towards you. Maybe tighten it up if you want a bit more resistance. Lifting the heel, lowering the heel. Lifting the heel, lowering the heel. Try and keep those toes down. This one can actually be quite difficult because the band is going to try and lift your foot off the floor. Lovely. One more time. Lift and lower. Okay, loosen off the band and we're going to do the same on the other side. So if you can remember, we're going to uncross the band and we're going to do the same on the other side. So now onto the left foot. So we start off taking the band around the back of the leg, so back of your ankle. Cross it over at the front. Make sure you've got roughly the same length either end. Cross it over at the front. And now cross it underneath your foot. Crossing it over, making that cradle, tightening it up, and holding on to either end. Okay, so hopefully you're still with me. Making that cradle, holding on to the ends of the band, again tucking those arms in, and it might feel different on this side. If you've got one side that's a little bit weaker than the other, you might feel a difference. So again, now you should feel quite aware of that foot. We've got lots of sensory input going into it with the band. And we're going to do the same again. Sitting tall, pulling the band in, arms down by your side. We're going to lift the toes and lower the toes. Lift the toes and lower the toes. And again, lift and lower. So you've got that little bit of resistance, especially as you press down. Put your toes down onto the floor. You should feel a bit of resistance as you press the toes into the floor and against the band. Good. Again, lots of sensory input here. Really good for feet. Okay, one more time. Lift those toes. Lower the toes. We're going to do the heel. So again, we're going to lift the heel, lower the heel. Lift the heel, lower the heel. You might want to pull that band in a little bit more now for the heel, because the muscles in the back of the ankle are a lot stronger. So you might need more resistance or less, depending, and see if you can maybe feel a difference between this side and the right. Good. Lifting, lowering, keeping those toes down and just lifting the heel. Let's do it one more time. And lowering it down. Lovely. Okay, you can uncross it now. Take the band away from the foot. And just take a moment to really feel a difference now in your feet. You should feel quite aware. They might feel a little bit looser, not as tight, not as stiff. So just feeling that difference for a moment. And now we're going to use the band, try and flatten it out. So we're going to step onto it. So stepping onto the band underneath your feet, make sure it's under your feet, not just under your toes or under your heels, so that you anchor it down. Holding onto the ends, mine's gone a little bit curly. Roughly the same length either side, feet hip width apart, and pulling the band again in towards you. Now with this one, we're going to be working the outside of the legs, working into the hips. If you want to, you could cross the band over at the top. That's going to create more resistance. You're going to have to work harder. But the only thing with this is that if you pull too hard, your knees are going to fall in towards each other. So maybe just keep it in each hand rather than crossing it over. But if you want a challenge, cross it over at the top, that's fine. So as much resistance as you want, drawing the band in towards you, sitting up nice and tall. Really think about drawing the tummy in nice and tight now, because we're going to work into the hips. We want to stay nice and stable. What you want to avoid, if I demonstrate, avoid this. Okay? Stay sitting nice and tall. Try not to let the body join in and just work into the legs. So with your right foot first, try and push out against the band and then step back in. And now with the left, you're going to press out against the band and back in. So keep those arms tucked in. So you step out and step in. Step out, step in. So that's where if you cross it over, you've got more resistance to work against. Keep those arms tucked in, pull the band a little bit tighter or loosen it off if you need to, and you should start feeling it around the hips, warming up a bit more. Stepping out, think about trying to push your heel out and against the band, and then let it come in. Push out and in. We're going to keep it going. We're going to really warm up those hips. Try and stay nice and tall, drawing the tummy in tight. 4 more. Try not to let your body join in. Good. Last one on each side. Out and in and out and in. Lovely. Okay. So if you did cross it over, just uncross. You can hold on to the ends of the band still and keep it underneath your feet. And now we're going to come into our hip hinge. We're going to keep the band here underneath the feet. And we are going to keep it when we come up to standing. If at that point you want to take it away, that's fine. So I'll give you a reminder if you do want to take it away for standing. So band underneath your feet. And I might actually turn side on so you can see me, because we're going to do some work through the arms with the band. So stepping on, holding on to the ends. So we're going to come into our hip hinge and we're going to add a reach of the arms. So you're going to have a bit of resistance from the band. So if you let the arms rest down by your side, like we would do normally for our hip hinge, so it's going to be quite loose. You're going to have a lot of slack in the band. And now in a moment, as we hinge forward, we're going to pull the band and reach out through the arms. So it's sitting nice and tall. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, start to hinge forward, reach through the arms so you create that resistance and pull the band in front of you. Breathing in as you come back up and loosen off the band. And breathing out, hinge forward and reach through the arms. Breathing in, sitting up tall. And breathing out, come forward and reach through the arms. So if you need to, maybe loosen off the band. Don't have it so tight. Or you could do it without the band if you want to and just let it go and pop it to one side. 4 more. So this is working your deltoids, which is the shoulders, front of your arms. Really try and pull that band, reach it out in front of you as much as you can. Last 2. Reach, pull the band, and up. Last 1. Pull, And back up. Well done. Have a little roll. This time we're going to do bicep curls. So again, we're going to come into hip hinge, but we're going to turn the arms forward, so hands facing forward, and you're going to do a bicep curl. Now, if you were to do it in sitting, that's actually more challenging than if you do it in your hip hinge. So just bear that in mind. If you did want to stay up sitting, it's actually going to be more work. So your hip hinge is a better option. So take a breath in, breathing out, hinge forward, bicep curl. So fold the hands in towards you, and then breathing in as you sit back up and uncurl the arms. Breathing out, hinge forward, bicep curl. Breathing in as you release and uncurl the arms. Breathing out, hinge forward, bicep curl. Breathing in as you come back up. 4 more. So as you hinge forward, curl the arms in, pulling the band. So now we're working biceps, front of the arms. Last 2. Again, you could do it without the band, or loosen it off if you need to. Last one. And release. Okay, arms should be feeling warm again. This time, we're going to hold the hip hinge and we're going to work the triceps, so the back of your arms. So I might quickly demonstrate this one because otherwise you might not be able to see me. So if I quickly show you, this time you're going to hinge forward and you're going to pull the arms in and up towards you. So drawing the band in towards your waist. And then this time we're going to stretch the arms out behind. So you're working your triceps, working the back of your arms. Okay, we're going to hold it. We're going to do 8 altogether if you can. And if you need to, loosen off the band a little bit. So again, take a breath in, breathing out. Let's hinge forward first of all. And then just draw the band in towards your waist. Hold it here. And now stretch those arms out behind you and pull the band back. And then fold those arms back in. And again, stretch it out behind you and fold it back in. Again, stretch it out behind you and fold it back in. Number 4, stretch it behind and back in. 4 more. So you should feel the back of the arms working this time. Quite a big one. Last 2. Last 1. Release. Let the arms go. Sit yourself back up. Well done. Have a roll of those shoulders. Okay, so this is where we're going to work our way up to standing now. So if you feel the band is going to be too much, then feel free to take it away, pop it to one side. And I'm going to suggest that when we come up to standing, just stay in front of your chair because we're going to repeat all of that again, but in a squat, okay? So I would keep the chair behind you so that if you need to sit yourself down, you can do. But if you want something in front of you to hold on to, you could. So we're just going to do one big push and come all the way up to standing. If you need to do a bit of rocking, then feel free, or any other way to get yourself up and off the chair. So if you're happy, just take a deep breath in and breathing out. We're going to push ourselves off and come up into standing. And if you've still got the band, you should be able to feel that you've now created a bit of resistance as you've lengthened up into standing. So keep the chair behind you so that if you need to, you can just sit yourself down, because we're going to do the same arm series that we did a moment ago, but now in a squat rather than a hip hinge. If you want to stay on the chair, you're going to repeat what we just did with the hip hinge. So feet about hip width apart, holding onto the ends of the band, and if it gets too much, just let the band go, pop it to one side. So we're going to do our squats and we're going to reach through the arms like we did on the chair. So breathing in and out as you come down and reach through the arms again. Breathing in as you push up to stand and breathing out as you squat and reach through the arms. Breathing in, come back to stand. And breathing out again. Reach those arms in front. Number 4 coming up. We're going for 8. Reach the arms. It's a bit like you're skiing. A skiing squat, I like to call it. 4 more. And just pull the band as much as you want to, so that you're working those deltoids, working the shoulders. Last 2. Come back to the chair if you need to. Last one. And up we come. Woo, well done. Next, we're going to do bicep curls. So again, just like we did on the chair, just turn those hands forward this time so you can bicep curl as you come into your squat. Then breathing in again, breathing out as we squat and bicep curl. So curl the band in towards you. Breathing in, push back to stand and release the arms. Breathing out, come down, bicep curl. Breathing in to release. And breathing out again, bicep curl. Breathing in to release. Breathing out, bicep curl. Good, 4 more. Keep it going. Feel the front of the arms working hard. Into that squat and curl the arms. Last 2, doing really well. I can feel myself getting very warm. Last one. And up we come. Woo! Okay, last one now is those triceps. So for this one, we need to hold the squat. So if you'd rather do this sitting and hold your hip hinge instead, that's fine. But if you feel you can, you're going to hold the squat. So we're going to do 8, but if you need to, maybe split it in half, do 4, have a rest, and then do another 4. So we're going to come into that squat first of all. So just take a deep breath. And breathing out as you squat. So the band is quite loose to start with. And then we're going to draw the ends of the band in towards your waist. We're going to hold it here. And we're going to stretch that band out behind you and stretch the arms. And then draw it back in. So reach back behind you. And then back in. Keep it going. Reach back behind you. And back in. Keep it going. Number 4. And in. Lovely, last 3. Feel the back of the arms working. Try and hold that squat if you can. Last one. And push yourself up to standing. Woo! Have a little roll of those shoulders. And if you can, we're just going to stay on the band for a little bit longer, I'm afraid. So this time, again, like we did in sitting, we're going to step out, so you're pushing against the band. Now, go careful here that your arm doesn't join in, because actually that's going to help you, okay? Oh, where's my screen done now? Sorry, apologies if my screen has gone black on you. There we go, I'm back. See, something always happens. It's always this one. Okay, so like I was saying, try not to take the arm out with you, because actually that's going to assist you. It's a bit of cheating. So try and keep the arms tucked in and just step out with the foot, okay? A little bit more challenging than if you take the arm with you, okay? So we're going to start with the feet about hip width apart, tucking those arms in, relax the shoulders, and just take a breath in. And as you breathe out, just step one foot out into the band, and then breathe in as you step back in. Breathing out with the opposite foot, and breathing in as you step back in. Breathing out as we step out, and breathing in to step in. Breathing out to step out, and breathing in to step in, and just keep it going. So you're pushing against the band as much as you can. If you can make it a bit wider, oh, you're going to have to work a bit harder. So you're going to really feel hips working, abductors and adductor muscles working hard. Push and in. 4 more. Push and in. Keep it going for those last couple. Legs getting nice and warm. Last one. And in. Woo. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to step onto one end of the band. So if you step off for a moment, mine's curled up again. So we're going to step on one end of the band. So just to make sure that we all go the same way and we don't get confused, if you have the band in your left hand, first of all, and then step onto the end of the band in front of you. So you've got the band in your left hand and you've got a nice bit of length on this side. You want it quite slack, okay? Hopefully your band is long enough. So you could try this in sitting. It'll be slightly different when we come into the side reach. So it might be that you just do the shoulder press movement. It will make sense in a moment, but you can give it a go in sitting. So you're holding on to the end of the band, and I would suggest letting the band just come over the back of your knuckles, the back of your hand. A little bit easier to hold on to it that way. And what we're going to do is a shoulder press. So you're going to really work the shoulder. We want to avoid bending. We want to avoid leaning back or leaning forward. So you're standing nice and tall. You're just going to tuck that arm in alongside you, and you're just holding on to the end of the band. And then all we're going to do is we're going to reach up towards the ceiling. So start with less resistance and then add it if you want to. If you've got a really short band, you might not be able to do this, so you'll have to do it without, okay? So take a breath in, draw the tummy in, breathing out as you reach up. So you're taking that band with you, creating more resistance as you reach up towards the ceiling, and then breathing in as you draw it back down, and breathing out again as you reach up. Breathing in, pull it down, and breathing out again as you reach up. Hopefully this is working in sitting. I can see a couple of you, so that's good. Well done. Keep it going. Go to 6. This is number 3. So you're reaching up and down. So feel that it's really coming from that shoulder. Try not to hitch the shoulder up towards your ear, and just reach as far as you can. If you can't reach all the way, that's fine. Just go as far as you can. Good. And last one. And we're going to hold it here. So reaching up as high as you can, you're going to hold it here, and now we're going to come into a side bend. So breathing in and out as you reach over to the right. So feel that band maybe against you if it hasn't got all tangled up. Breathing in as you lengthen back up, stay there. Breathing out, we're going to come over again. Good. Breathing in, standing up tall one more time. Breathing out, reaching over. Well done. Breathing in, and now breathing out. You lower it all the way down. Have a little shake off of that hand and of the shoulder, and we're going to switch sides. So standing, just switch that band around. So you can now hold it in your right hand. Hopefully we all went the same way, didn't get confused. And again, hold on to the end and take the band, if you can, over the back of your hand, the back of your knuckles. And again, holding it in alongside you. Have a little bit of slack first, and then maybe add the resistance if you want to. If you know that this side is a little bit weaker, maybe loosen off the band if you need to. So again, we're doing our 6 shoulder presses. So breathing in and out, reach up, take the band with you, and breathing in to come back down. Breathing out, reach up, and breathing in, come down. Good. Keep it going. Number 3, reach it up. 3 more to go. Standing nice and tall, so try not to lean over, try not to bend back or forward. Last 2. Reach it up as far as you can. We're going to hold this one, so hold it there. Reach, reach, reach. Take a breath in, and breathing out, reaching over to the left. Into that side bend, and breathing in, lengthen back up. 2 more. Breathing out, reaching over. Breathing in, and one more time. Breathing out, and breathing in, and out. So lower it down. Well done. Again, loosen off the wrist, loosen off the shoulder. You can step off the band now. And we've got one more exercise using the band. So this one is really great for shoulders. It's called drawing the sword. Some of you have done these with me before. So you can hold on to the band, have a bit of slack in it, and we're going to take our right arm down by our side, left hand holding onto the band, and just bringing that hand across so it's in front of the right hip. So it's crossed over the body slightly. And we're going to imagine that we're drawing our sword. Okay, that's why it's called drawing the sword. And it's quite nice for the shoulder. What you want to avoid is hitching the shoulder up to start the movement. So try and avoid hitching the shoulder and then the elbow. Try and think about leading with your hand, okay? So eyes ahead, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, reach across on a diagonal. And then breathing in as you bring the band back to the start, and breathing out again as we reach across. Breathing in, bringing it back, 2 more, and breathing out, reach across. You could add more resistance if you want to, and tighten it up. Try not to hitch the shoulder, lead with the hand. Lovely. Now we're going to change sides. So now you're going to bring the left arm down by your side, right hand coming across in front of the hip, and again breathing in and out as you reach across on a diagonal. Breathing in as you bring it back in front of the hip, and breathing out again to reach across. Breathing in and out to reach across. One more time. Breathing in and out to reach across. Lovely, good. And down. We're going to repeat it again, but we're going to add a bit of movement now in the spine. So we're going to come back over to the other side. Right arm down by your side, left hand in front of the hip. And now this time, eyes on your hand, and you're going to follow the band and let your body respond, so you come into a little bit of extension. So if you need to watch the first one, that's fine. We're going to do 4 altogether. So you're looking at the hand, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, reach it across and follow, take it slightly behind you. So you're crossing across the front of the body in a little bit of extension, and then breathing in as you bring it back in front of the hip. Follow it again as you breathe out, reach across. Take it slightly behind you this time. Breathing in again as we bring it back to the front, and breathing out as we reach it across. One more time. So eyes on the hand, and just let your body follow, reaching it back slightly behind you, and release it back in front. We're going to switch sides, over to the other side. Right hand now in front of the hip, following the band, breathing in and out, reach across, slightly behind you towards the back of the room. Breathing in to come in front. Breathing out again, follow the band, eyes on your hand. Breathing in to come back, 2 more. Breathing out, stretch across and follow the band. Breathing in, last one, and breathing out. And finish that last one. Oh, and you can relax. Take the band away, maybe pop it on the back of your chair. And just let's roll off those wrists a little bit, give them a roll around. Wiggle the fingers after holding onto the band, and just roll those shoulders a couple of times just to loosen it off. Lovely. And we're just going to come into our corkscrew arms to really loosen off around the shoulders, because it takes quite a lot to be holding onto the band, and we've done a lot of work. So just standing nice and tall, and just turn those palms to face forward. You can do this in sitting as well. Take a breath in to prepare, and breathing out as you float the arms all the way up and take the hands back behind your head. Breathing in as you shrug the shoulders up, and breathing out as you draw the shoulders down. Breathing in as you reach the hands, and breathing out as we float it down. Good. And again, breathing in and out, floating the arms, taking the hands back behind your head. Breathing in, bring the shoulders up. Breathing out, draw the shoulders down. Breathing in to reach to the ceiling. Breathing out to float it down. 2 more. Breathing in and out. Hands behind the head. Breathing in, lift the shoulders. Breathing out, draw them down. Breathing in to reach, and breathing out to float down. One more time. Breathing in and out to float up. Hands behind the head. Really feel that you're lifting the shoulders up towards your ears, drawing them down the back. Reach the hands and float it down. Well done. We're going to return onto our chair now. So just rearrange yourself if needed. And we're going to come to sitting, and we're just going to do a couple of little stretches to loosen off. You've done really well. I've packed a lot in, especially a bit of arm work. So just let those arms settle down by your side, sitting nice and tall. And we're just going to roll the shoulders. So we're going to draw the shoulders up towards the ears and down the back, and just rolling those shoulders to help loosen off and release. One more time. Lovely. And now coming into arm circles, if you've got enough space. So palms facing in towards you as you float the arms up, and then turning the palms forward as you circle those arms all the way down, and turning them in and floating up and turning them forward as you float down. Lovely. Turning the palms in and floating up and turning the palms forward as you come down. 3 more. Nice big circle, as big as you can make it. Try not to disturb the spine, so sitting nice and tall. Try and avoid leaning back. Lovely, and 1 more. Nice big circle. Up and down. Resting the arms. And now coming into a little bit of a stretch for the legs, because you've done a lot of squats as well. So just shuffle forward a little bit in the chair, so you can take the right foot out in front of you, and just pull those toes up towards you. If you want to, you could use your band around your toes, so that you can just draw it in towards you and increase that stretch up through the back of the leg. Entirely up to you. You don't have to, because you've used the band a lot already. So just holding it there. And if you want to, just stay on that stretch. If you've got your band, just keep drawing the foot towards you. But if you can, now just hinge yourself forward so you can lean onto the supporting leg. Keep pulling those toes up, and you should feel that you've increased the stretch now up the back of the leg, and you might get a little bit of a stretch across the lower back as well. So we're going to hold it here, take a couple of deep breaths. And then we're going to sit ourselves up and slide that leg back in. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So taking the other foot forward, pull those toes towards you. So you're just stretching in the calf, first of all. Again, if you want to, grab your band, pop it around the foot, draw it in towards you, just to increase it, or just to give you some support if needed. Hold it there. Keep pulling those toes up as much as you can. And again, if you want to, you can hinge forward, lean onto that supporting leg, keep pulling the toes up, so you're increasing that stretch through the back of the leg, holding it here. Take a couple of deep breaths again. And release. And slide that foot back in. You can shuffle back a little bit if you need to. And we're just going to take a moment to focus on breathing. Just let yourself settle. You've done a lot of work, so we're just going to take some nice deep breaths and try and just release, let go of any lasting tension that you might have. So if you want to, you can close your eyes and just really tune into the breathing. So breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just let the breath fill the whole body. So think about letting that breath go right down to the toes. Really nice, deep, long breath. And as you exhale, just try and let go of any tension. Try and relax the shoulders and the arms. Feel yourself just soften into the chair. Just take a couple more deep breaths. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. You're still there. And we are finished. Well done. I've packed a lot in using the band. If you've got any questions or any issues that came up using the band, feel free to send me a message.